Welcome to my channel Daily Bulletin News. An unusual lead brings Ava, Harris, and Lucas closer to finding Clyde, but will he make it out of Montana alive? In the square, John and Marlena show each other gifts they bought for Jude. They wonder where Eric is with their grandson since they're supposed to be meeting. Marlena calls him, lying in bed, and emotionally shattered Eric declines the call, but texts that he can't make it. Marlena feels something is wrong. As they wait for their food at the pub, Jada tells Steve they're short-handed at the station. It doesn't help that Harris just got back from leave only to take more time off. Steve worries about where he and Ava could be. Jada deduces he's worried about something else as well. He confides he's worried about Stephanie. In Montana, Lucas follows Harris and Ava into a rustic motel room. He announces they're bringing in a rollaway bed for him. Since it's trout season, they were lucky to get even one room. Lucas hates being the third wheel, but Harris reminds him they're there for Clyde, not romance. Harris brought him there as a driver and a lookout. After learning from Chad that Eric isn't at work, Marlena tries calling Sloan, but her number's been disconnected. She and John go to the apartment where a teary-eyed Eric fills them in on Sloan and Jude. They ask what they can do for him. Eric just wants to be alone, but assures them he isn't going to drink. At the pub, Jada tries to downplay Everett's arrest when Steve brings it up. Since both she and his daughter were involved with him, he needs to know if Everett is a violent man. Jada says he never raised his hand to her. She doesn't think he'll hurt Stephanie, not like that. Steve knows there's something she's not telling him. Jada assures him Stephanie knows what she's getting into. As they eat burgers, Steve apologizes for all the questions, but Jada calls Stephanie lucky to have such a concerned dad. She misses hers every day. Steve misses Marcus too and would be happy to step into the concerned dad role for Jada. Chuckling, she says she's good. When Steve notices her hamburger bun is different than his, she explains it's gluten-free. Officer Goldman did one good thing by turning her onto this niche online bakery. Is that right? Steve says pensively. After Jada goes back to work, Steve pulls out his laptop. Thanks to Jada, he might have an idea of how to find Ava and Harris. Lucas gets beers at the motel, wondering why Harris didn't just call the FBI on Clyde. Because I want to deal with that son of a bitch myself, he says. Harris tells Lucas that the town librarian Ed Goldman, who used the computer. Clyde was spotted in town sometime back too, but it turned into a false lead. Lucas wonders if he has the local cops in his pocket. Harris thinks if they follow Goldman, she'll lead them to Clyde. Lucas assumes they'll then turn him over to the FBI, which Harris confirms. However, Ava flashes back to telling Steve she'll deal with Clyde permanently. In the park, Stephanie tells Chad that Marlena thinks Everett has DID. After going through it with Abby, Chad warns it will be a rough ride. Is she up for it? Stephanie can't just turn her back on him. She knows Abigail was lucky Chad was there for her, but Chad counters he wasn't there enough. Stephanie wonders how he can say that. She's not here, is she? Stephanie urges him to stop blaming himself. Clyde's the only one responsible for her death. John and Marlena take Eric to eat in the square, but he pushes his plate away. Marlena stops Everett when he passes through. She tells him they've been looking for him. Agitated, he says he's just been walking around. She wants to talk about what happened. He defensively says he doesn't remember punching Eric, who he apologizes to. Everett assumes he thought Eric was trying to hurt Sloan, which doesn't make sense since she's his wife and he loves her. Eric storms away. Marlena asks Everett to let her help him. Ava hangs back at the motel, while Harris and Lucas go out searching for food. She answers the motel room phone to Steve. He wants to join the search for Clyde, but Ava worries he'll be tipped off if too many people are there. Steve relents. When she tells him Goldman's been spotted in town, he relays that Goldman's favorite gluten-free bread company ships weekly to a P.O. box in Ennis, Montana. The first shipment was sent to a Faith Silvers the week after Clyde broke out of prison. The next shipment is scheduled for tomorrow. He tells her to be careful. She pulls out a gun, assuring him she can take care of herself. After hanging up, she says to herself, The only person coming home in a body bag is Clyde. Harris and Lucas return with slushies and flaming hot cheese puffs from the convenience store.